Hello everyone. It is so wonderful to be together. I'm sure that very soon the experience of sharing one space, despite the physical distance, will take over. The beauty of such evenings is that it is completely non-local. We are sharing the space, as soon as we begin to share the same intention, the same reflection, the same intensity, this type of event is called Satsang. This is a sort of a tribute to the traditional event in which a group of people turns their attention at the same time to the reality of being rather than the reality of becoming. All day long we become. We are in deep, we are immersed in the experience of movement toward something, toward becoming a better someone, a stronger someone, a happier someone. But this someone and this movement and this constant becoming from a total perspective, an absolute perspective, this someone, this becoming, this movement is actually completely illusory. It is just a thought. It is just an image held in the mind. In Satsang, we have the opportunity to shatter this image. And it is not so difficult because it is just an image. You're not really attempting to break some reality that exists outside of you. It is just a thought that creates the sense of time, a thought that creates the sense of future, of past, of a person, And from that thought, there comes all the experience of suffering, the experience of human yearning, human craving, or the experience of longing, of need, of incompleteness. So in satsang, we have the opportunity to watch it together, to watch this illusion together as it dissolves into the ocean of being. That's why, to me, this is a sacred event. Sacred not in the religious sense. Sacred in the sense that we finally are allowing ourselves to take a perspective outside of time. And be complete in being. So pay attention. There are a lot of teachings that I usually give outside of satsang. There are books, there are courses, there are seminars, there are schools. There are methods, but here there is no teaching. This might be a bit disorienting, but really there is nothing to grasp here, nothing to hold on to. Because satsang is really the art of being. So please don't expect an exact guidance or instruction today, or some fresh perspective on our daily life. This is a rare opportunity to be together. So what I would like to invite us to do right now is to go through some short guided meditation that will introduce us to the entire evening. Usually an evening consists of some guided meditation, a talk, and then answering questions. You are watching it live, so obviously you can ask questions, and I will aim to answer as many questions as possible, but who knows? In satsang there is no concentrated effort, and therefore we will see how it goes, how it flows. So for this guided meditation, we can close our eyes. Of course, we can also keep our eyes open. Usually it is easier to immerse ourselves in meditation with closed eyes, but that is not really necessary. So, with either closed or open eyes, sitting with our backs straight, not too tight, but slightly tight, in order to remain aware and dignified. Sitting already like a Buddha, not with our ordinary self-image of a limited person, but already feeling that we have this Buddha presence, and therefore we can allow ourselves to sit with divine pride. And as we are sitting with this sense of the Buddha presence in us, let us do something that we usually don't do on a daily basis. We'll turn our attention to our attention. Usually, our attention is obviously directed in certain ways. All we do all day long is direct our attention to this object, that object. We turn our attention toward visible objects, things that seem to attract our attention, to draw our attention. And when we're not too occupied with external objects, we do pretty much the same inside. Our attention is drawn toward this thought, this emotion, that emotion. Perhaps we have our attention drawn to physical sensations, how we're feeling. All day long, our attention is directed. So it is almost like a projector, like a torch that illuminates whatever it focuses on. But what happens when we don't direct attention? Instead, we are paying attention to attention. We are focusing on that which shines its light on objects, which makes meaningful through its energy. Now, it is just there, undirected, pure attention. The energy of attention itself. It is extremely simple to do that because attention is a very immediate thing. It is obvious that when you look at a flower, it is simply a moment in which you direct your attention to the flower, and therefore it is always there. So just let it be without any direction. Perhaps there are thoughts around, that's not a problem, because perhaps also there is the sound of cars from the street, or the laughter of a child, or the sound of television on. It doesn't matter. So you don't need to turn off thoughts. All you need is to turn your attention to your attention. And as this pure attention, what happens when you're there, not directing your energy to any particular object? Now feel how perhaps this attention started as a tiny torch, a tiny point in you. But when it is undirected, when it has no object, no limit, when it is not narrowed down, it is not limited in any way, what happens? Notice that what limits the energy of attention is that it is directed. Then it becomes focused, it becomes narrow. It becomes wasted. Now, when all this energy of attention becomes concentrated, it also begins to expand. And it has no limit, no periphery, not even a center. Now feel how you can really immerse yourself in this blissful state of undirected attention. Remember, this is not an effortful state. You're not trying to be attentive. On the contrary, now attention is without a choice, without a focus. So it is just pure energy. Now, even though we are now leaving the meditation behind, the guided meditation, anyway, remember that satsang is one long guided meditation. Remember that while narrowing your attention, limiting your attention now to listen to what I say, you don't really have to narrow it, to focus it, because what we speak here is about this exact state. So keep it wide. Even if you close your eyes, even if you open your eyes, you can also remain with closed eyes. That depends on you. So what we are going to talk about this evening is deeply related to this guided meditation. We are going to talk about energy. Energy. What is energy? Perhaps this sounds like like a strange question. But actually, if you consider it for a moment, you will realize that many of us are looking for energy. Many of us feel tired, feel depleted, feel like we don't have enough energy. So the question has immediate implications, because we want to know what the source of energy is, and we may think that that energy is in, I don't know, some kind of superfood or some kind of physical activity or lifestyle, and we keep looking for sources of energy, and we keep looking for advice, for instructions, how to enhance our energy. And of course, all this lifestyle and diet and vitamins, they have their very important place in terms of preserving our energy, enhancing our energy. But there is a source of infinite energy that we need to consider. When we our being comes into contact with infinite energy, with the ocean of energy itself. And that is something completely different. This means that we are sustained by a very different source of energy. So I think this question has immediate implications. So let's look into it together, reflect on it together, and try as much as possible not just to listen to me speak, but to fulfill the insight as we progress, as our meditation unfolds. So we want to understand what energy is. And the first thing, of course, that we need to consider is the fact that the world is exploding with energy, right? The world is exploding with energy. There is so much energy propelling everything. There is, of course, energy behind nature, energy that makes extraordinary flowers grow, that is behind all the biological processes, that makes nature flourish, makes our bodies move, makes babies come into being. And there is also the energy that is propelling, that is moved, and that also is produced by human thought, human ambition, human will, human drive. It is astonishing that we walk on this earth, but then we know that right now, for instance, just lately, a vehicle has landed on Mars. One of several already that have landed on Mars. And now this vehicle is moving in Mars, taking pictures, revealing to us, while we are here, what is taking place on a very distant point in the universe. Now, just try to think, to imagine what kind of energy lies behind this ambition, this human urge to build such vehicles, to even think about the possibility that you can send a vehicle to take pictures, to bring to us back videos. So with this energy, endless energy that we have, endless energy that we humans have, we are really moving mountains. We are building empires and destroying them. We are starting wars. We are writing poetry and publishing endless books and and building universities and creating civilizations. We are building unbelievable machines, extraordinary technology. So there is actually a tremendous energy behind all human activity. Behind human culture. So how does this energy begin? First, it begins with that there is raw energy, right? There is raw energy, tremendous energy, and then it takes the form of a thought, an idea, and then this thought begins to move so many things in the world. This idea that was born in someone's mind. Now it begins to move everything in order to make it a reality. And surely you have also a lot of energy behind your being, the amount of things that you were doing in life. Behind your wills, behind your wishes, behind your hopes, your tears, your laughter, so much energy. So behind and within every human being, there is the energy of nature, but there is also the energy that then becomes limited in the form of thought and the form of becoming, of doing, achieving, wanting. Each one of you is a tremendous factory of energy. Now the question is, of course, why don't we know that? Why we so often feel depleted, unawake, looking for forms of energy? This is because we are wasting all this energy on thoughts. There is so much energy, so much raw energy, but then it becomes limited. You see, it becomes limited in order to achieve certain things. It is not just thoughts. Sometimes thoughts can be extremely creative. They create many beautiful things. They create vehicles on Mars. But still, thought is limited. Still, thought is a form that the energy takes, for a form that your energy takes, or emotion. So, thought is energy with direction. It is directed energy, just like we did right now in the guided meditation. Right? We see all day long our attention is directed to the flower, to a lecture, to our phones, to messages, emails, to interaction, to thinking about relationships. We are putting all this energy, but we are limiting it, and we are wasting it all day long. And the question is, what could happen? What would happen if all the energy that was wasted on thoughts would be preserved as pure energy, or much of it? Which means that we are, instead of directing our energy, we are beginning to preserve it, to hold it, to contain it, so that it becomes concentrated and total. Now try this. Don't worry about silencing thoughts. It's not, this will not help at all. We are not in the business of silencing thoughts, because that's a waste of energy. Do you understand? If I try to silence thought, I'm wasting the energy. And here I say, now I'm not going to limit this attention. I'm not going to have this energy take form, specific form, appear as an image, appear as a wish, appear as a search. So I'm just sitting in this immense energy without direction. If you observed one day how much energy is wasted on thoughts and emotions, you would be amazed, because thought is like a generator of endless energy. It produces so much. If we took all the wasted mental energy on the planet and use it and use it for, I don't know, as a source of electricity or something, this would be a sort of a nuclear energy, explosive. There would be endless reservoir. That is usually wasted on wishing and hoping and striving and fearing and needing and dissatisfaction and seeking happiness. So this is where meditation becomes a transformation of all this energy that becomes scattered, a transformation of this energy into pure energy. I'm sitting in my own energy. And now it is not taking form, it is not directed, it is not moving toward the past, toward the future, toward a certain will, frustration, desire. Just think for a moment of how much energy is wasted on certain patterns that we have, certain mental or emotional obsessions. So the energy keeps being is directed all day long so much toward this kind of fixation, something that we want, or some habit, or some addiction. And we keep investing this energy. So there is a tremendous amount of energy. Do you understand? But we are just wasting it. Thought is a limited form of energy. It is wasted energy. Of course, sometimes we have creative thoughts that are constructive, that can do something beautiful. That's good, but not even that is enough, because we shouldn't waste this energy on just limiting it constantly. We need to also know it in its pure state, as a raw experience. And why is that? This is because when the energy is not wasted at all this energy begins to accumulate. It begins to accumulate, to return to you, return to your being. At a certain point, it becomes so concentrated, and still it is without direction. It is almost like as you would imagine the Big Bang, but before the explosion, when there was just a concentrated mass of energy. So it is explosive from within, but it without direction. I'm not going to throw it away. At that moment, what happens to this energy is that it transforms into presence. So the transformation of thought is presence. And what is extraordinary about presence is that it is filled with vibration. It is so alive, so energetic, because presence is life. Presence is life in its purity. When there is presence, you are for the first time, really alive. Until then, it was, you were perhaps living or perhaps acting in life, but you were not in life. You were not one with it. So this is in fact the meaning of presence. It is the transformation of thought into pure, complete, total being. This is what is so amazing, you see? We are searching. We are searching for energy. We are searching for life. But when we don't search, when we don't focus, narrow our attention to look for forms of life, when we don't search, this means that the energy is not wasted, and that leads to presence, to aliveness. So all our energy is gathered, and when there is no search and the energy is explosive, but it is without direction, at a certain point it does explode. But now it explodes in every direction. It has become so concentrated that it is like it leads to an inner explosion. And when this inner explosion takes place, we are coming into contact with the energy of everything, you see? It's the energy of behind the entire universe. It's the energy that is the origin of energy. It's where all energy starts from, all the different forms of energy, the enormous energy behind nature, behind the many billions of life forms that come into being and want and desire and hope and look to survive and look to expand, and then they die, but then there are others. So behind that there is a tremendous engine, primordial, ancient, but ancient without time. So this is how meditation becomes an immersion in this infinite energy. Now, What is so beautiful here is that it is a completely tantric principle. When we say tantric means transformation. Transformation. It means that you don't renounce energies, you transform them. You don't need to throw anything away. So think of it, all the energy that is wasted all day long on thinking, seeking, hoping, feeling, needing, striving, and so on. I'm starting to extricate it. I'm not giving it form, and therefore I'm not wasting it anymore. And be aware, notice how it is wasted on a daily basis. Just take a look. Oh, here is how I'm wasting energy. Here is this habit of energy becoming thought, energy becoming emotion, energy becoming addiction, energy becoming, again, thinking about relationship. Energy wasted on hopes and on dreams and so on and so on. It doesn't mean that we are not going to be alive, but it just means that actually very little energy needs to be wasted on even the fullest participation in life. So if you are even beginning to observe how you're wasting energy, even just observing it, that is already the beginning of returning the energy to you. You're realizing that you're letting it scatter. You are and in that realization you are already awake, you see, awake. And then there is meditation. And in meditation, every meditation we accumulate the energy. So as we said, this is tantric because you're not throwing away thoughts, you are extricating energy from them. You are bringing it back, you are unraveling this entangled form of energy. So that nothing is wasted. And you don't deny anything. Sometimes we think in meditation that it's only about being without, you see, letting go of thoughts, letting go of emotions, and just be some kind of or reaching some kind of silence. But this type of silence can be also a limited form of silence. because it may not be vibrant, alive, vibrating silence, ecstatic silence, silence that is dancing, silence that is life. And that's the only real silence. So it's the very same energy. But now you are just keeping it. You are sitting in it. You are not directing it. Therefore, it is unlimited. This is actually what impresses us so much with the energy field of teachers or spiritual masters. When we come into contact with such an energy field, we need to realize that the major reason for the fact that the energy field of a spiritual master is so compelling, so magnetic, is because a spiritual master is one who is no longer wasting the energy of his or her attention they are immersed in raw, pure energy. That was before that limited to search, to feeling, becoming, future, past. Now they've accumulated everything, and it is vibrating, it is inwardly explosive, it is concentrated. And when the energy is not wasted in one direction, it explodes eventually in every direction. So this starts first with a silent, effortless determination. I see the waste of energy. I actually have endless amount of it. Otherwise, how could my thought generate so much and my feeling generate so much all day long? There must be some energy. So I am now determined, gently, effortlessly, not to limit it. I pay attention to attention. Keep it undirected. Letting it expand without a center, without an end. What happens then? So let's see if you have some questions. I've already received 2 questions from participants, but I will surely answer them, but perhaps there are questions that are directly related to what we have just been talking about. If not, I will start by reading. Okay, I will just start because I see that everything is connected to. So this is from Joy. Hello. The question is, in meditation and also in practical life, I use a lot reminders to sink into consciousness, like just perceive, allow, relax, open, be the space, intensify presence, be more intimate. It works, but I also see that it somehow holds me in the thinking as part of the fake I. How to move beyond just thinking it into really letting go and merging? That's a very good question. So we use reminders, right? For example, I do something at home and then I'm realizing that I was not present. Right? Because again, I was wasting all my energy. I was directing it. It is, we have such a habit of directing, focusing, that we don't realize the miracle of attention, the miracle of awareness. The infinite space that opens when there is no direction. So I'm realizing that I was wasting the energy, and now I'm thinking, I'm using the thought, be here and now, or just perceive, or be an open space, or pay attention to attention. Now this works for a while, right? It works for a while because I need this type of one thought against other thoughts, you see? Because these many thoughts, they are scattered in so many directions, so I need an antidote. I need some kind of thought, the same weapon, to use the same energy, but now as a weapon. Therefore, we have all the affirmations, we have all these essential instructions, reminders. And that works for a while because it concentrates our attention, but still, as you say, and that is maturely observed by you, when it is concentrated, it is still limited. Right? Now we understand after this talk, the energy is still limited. Now the energy is, let's say, is here and now. It is focused, and we think that being here and now is a tremendous condition, but relative to reality, it is nothing. It is just a reflection of a thought. It is a form of concentration. Now I'm not here, there and then. I'm here and now. Now I'm attentive to the sounds of birds and to the laughter of a child and to everything that I do. That's mindfulness, right? We have it everywhere, and it's very successful, but it is limited. It creates limited silence. It creates limited attention. And what happens sooner or later, I begin to realize I have again limited this energy. I'm inside an illusion. It's a much better illusion. It's closer to reality, but it's still human-made. It's not reality. Because reality cannot be achieved by any kind of limitation. Human thought cannot touch it. Human thought cannot conquer it. So now I understand this point. That's beautiful. Even this understanding is already the beginning of wisdom. Now, this is the next step, Joy, for you. The next step for us, when we are starting to take things seriously, is that you hold on to these thoughts, but then realize that this is again a form of limitation, and let go of it. This means, okay, I am space, but that's still effort, that's still a limitation. Now what happens when I don't try at all to be here and now? What happens when I don't try to be space? I don't even try to be in touch with reality. What happens? You see? That's the last thought. Now, what happens when you realize that this thought itself is a separation from reality? Let go of it. What happens? Right? We don't want our silence to be a silence in a small box, you see? Like some kind of small silence inside us that is contained, because this silence that is contained is still the silence of the personal self, is still the silence of the I. I am silent, I am at peace, I am here and now, I am all present. I have achieved enlightenment. You see, all these things. That's what we can call a good illusion. But it is still an illusion. Because we cannot think reality into being. Because reality is not something that comes into being. It is exactly when we realize that we cannot conquer it. Then it is. Yes.
Now there is a question from Lena.
Yes, Lena.
And Lena is asking, how can I contain the energy and follow my expansion and the will at the same time? It always feels like a contradiction.
Okay, so how can I contain the energy, right?
And follow my expansion and will at the same time.
And follow my expansion and will at the same time. Okay, so first of all, what is will? Will is a direction of energy, right? There is explosive energy in me, the explosive energy of life, and then it wants to express, it wants to manifest, it wants to fulfill. In other words, it takes form, right? So it begins in forms of thought, and then this thought begins to produce its own energy, right? And it derives its energy from the raw energy. So now, what is will? We in the reality, in the real state, will is not different from this energy. It is just like a ray of light that extends from the sun. You see, when we have the sun, perhaps we're not aware of it right now, but we have the sun constantly, and this sun is the source of light, right? It's always burning. It's always alive. It's a container, a holder of energy. It is energy itself. It is explosive. It explodes from within, and it contains its own explosion because it is there, burning. But then it also sends its ray, it has an effect, right? It has an effect. This energy comes out of the sun in a form of light, in a form of warmth, heat. So if you are beginning to be one with the energy, to have this energy indivisible, why would you worry about the will, right? Why would you worry about the will? Because the will come out as the warmth and the light of the sun that you are. Because that explosion, you don't need to think that now you need to contain it in the sense that you're suffocating it. You're just realizing that you don't want to waste it anymore on ridiculous fake wills. You see? Because this is what we're doing all day long. We are wasting the sun that we are on fake wills. This is our thoughts and our emotions. They lead nowhere. They produce nothing. They're impotent. But then there is creative energy. Creative energy comes out of this explosive energy. And then it naturally takes form. So the thing is not to think that containing the energy means to suffocating the energy of activity and creativity. On the contrary, don't suffocate anything. You're just learning how to not waste it on nonsense. That's the practice of meditation. Recollecting the lost energy. So this is from Jennifer. Hello. So the questions I see. Do you believe in a divine existence that exists outside of our personal being? If so, in what form? Can it also manifest in the form of angels, elves, energies? Shai Tubali speaks of the white heart in one of his meditations in the School of Emotional Transformation. Why is the heart, traditionally speaking, white? What are the soul and the spirit? That's a lot. Is the soul something like the heart, or is the mind our thoughts, our cognitions? In very simplified terms. There are also traditions that speak of old and young souls. Do you believe in these theories, and how can the soul be explained from this point of view? So that's enough for a long session. I will see what we can answer, because probably there are more questions, right? Yes. So I will start surely with the first question. Do you believe in a divine existence that exists outside of our personal being? If so, in what form? Can it also manifest in the form of angels, elves, energies? So first of all, you ask, do I believe? I will say I don't believe in anything. That's extremely important. I have destroyed all beliefs in me. That's the bargain. You see, you say I don't believe in anything, not because you're nihilistic, because you are now not believing anything. You're just an atheist, a materialist, like the scientifically oriented people. They don't believe in anything, which means that they wouldn't even agree to allow something beyond their common perception, because they're not going to experiment with it. So belief or disbelief, they are completely irrelevant to the question. The question is, do we recognize out of direct experience? But how can we recognize? How can we know that what we have recognized is not actually a product of thought, right? An image. I'm always joking that if once I told people with much conviction that purple is the basic color of the spirit, then people will start seeing purple everywhere, and they will see purple in their meditation. If I said it was pink, then they would see pink. Now, we need to ask ourselves, if it's not a matter of belief and disbelief, if there is a possibility that there may be a product of thought, that there may be a projection of thought, the only way I can know is by literally throwing away everything, including all these beliefs, angels, elves, energies, because if I have a belief, I will see them. If I have the belief, I will want to see them. And if I want to see them, I will see them. But if I don't want to see anything, but not because I resist seeing anything, but because my interest is in reality, is in truth, is in something that has nothing to do with thought, then I no longer believe, but perhaps I become aware of other realities without my intention or desire, you see? Without my intention or desire. And probably this means that what I say is, yes, there is divine existence. There is divine existence. But if I ever want to get in touch with it, I will need to really be naked, have my mind naked, pure, without a self, without desire. And then probably there is something, but at that moment, if it arises, it's not, you don't hold on to it. It's not, you don't need to see it. It's not something that makes you happy or unhappy. It is something that you are just aware of, as you would be aware of a flower. Now the thing is that if we are beginning to allow attention to be pure, without direction, we will anyway start realizing that the most important thing in our spiritual life is not to focus, to now shift our focus from focus on cars and moons and suns and people to a focus on elves and angels and other entities. It's not about that, because this is again a limitation. Even the most divine being is still a form, you see? So the question is whether we can allow our being to immerse in a reality without limit, without a specific form, without a specific object, then we will finally realize what really divine existence is, you see. Divine existence is not elves. It's not angels. Divine existence is everywhere. Divine existence is the totality of being. It's not one particular form. It's not magical beings. It's not even the greatest angel in the astral realms. It is not about that. It is not even Buddha. It is not even Jesus. Divine existence is what is behind all these forms, my form, their forms, the flower's form. It is everywhere. And that's the bliss that we are looking for. That's happiness, that's joy, that's the total expansion, you see. So as for your other questions, Carlos will keep this letter and we'll keep it for the next satsang, because I will also answer other questions. Thank you for asking.
So Amir is asking,
yes.
How can someone be fully aware of a moment without directing the awareness to an object? For a brief second, I have to direct the awareness, right?
Again.
How can someone be fully aware of a moment without directing the awareness to an object? For a brief second, I have to direct the awareness, right?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Let's take a look. We need first of all to differentiate between two states, two conditions. Right now, you are asking a question, right? You're asking a question, then I need to direct some of the attention, at least some of the attention, to the question in order to answer it. So here, I am limiting my attention consciously. Otherwise, I will not be able to respond to your question. Your words will not make sense to me, and I will not be able to integrate your words into one reasonable question, right? I will not be able to answer anything, because by the very choice of specific words that I'm using, I am already limiting this energy, right? Because there is infinite possibilities of answering your question, but then I'm picking specific words, specific sentences. That's already a limitation. Now, of course, the question is, even if in this moment, how much of the energy am I really directing to your question? And this is not meant to be insulting. We sometimes we think that we need to limit our attention completely, be focused completely on one thing, and lose this expansive state. That is not true. The state can be infinite, and we have the capacity to limit a bit of our energy, a fragment of our energy, while remaining in this expansive state. So this is very important to understand. It's not either or. It's not expansion or limitation. Limitation can take place inside expansion. Remember what we said with Lena. This is the point of a sun and the ray of sun. The ray of light is of the sun, is the sun's energy. It is just one ray. It certainly doesn't change the form of the sun, right? The sun doesn't become the ray. The sun remains a sun. It just extends its energy in an outward direction. Therefore, we are not talking here about something insane, a state in which a person cannot direct the energy anymore and doesn't understand what he or she is asked. So this is one, but then we need to differentiate it. Then there is what you asked about the moment. How can I be aware in this moment? And this is the thing that is very important to understand and very delicate. So try to listen to it effortlessly. Mindfulness and many other meditation techniques, they teach us to be in the moment, for instance. You see? Be in the moment, be one with what you do, or when you walk, be aware of your breathing, be aware of the sun, be aware of the light, be aware of the people, without judgment, and so on and so on. That's one thing. This is a very limited form of practice. And by its very nature, it doesn't lead to complete realization. So if I'm aware of this moment, what is this moment? What does it mean? What? I am aware of the present? I'm aware of what is happening? Awareness is not an awareness of the moment. It doesn't have any focal point. It doesn't have a center of attention. So can I walk and not be aware of anything in particular, but also not be trying to be unaware of anything? Do you understand? It's like it's allowing attention to feel, to be choicelessly there, not particularly focused on anything, not on the trees, on the walking, on the breathing, on the air, on the walk, nothing. It's just free, without an object. As long as you don't have to focus, allow an unfocusing to take place. At the beginning stages, whenever you will need again to focus, you will feel how you are contracting completely. This is only because you are not grounded, established in this openness, right? Openness without a limit. So, but slowly, you will realize I don't have to limit myself now. I can spare, I can create some kind of a channel. And through this channel to communicate, to create, to do wonderful things in the world. But I don't have to leave this state. It remains choiceless. That's a bit of an art, you see, because suddenly you realize it's not either or, just like you are now just like the universe. The universe is a total phenomena, but it also has expressions, you see? Expressions as it has manifestations of its energy. At the same time, it is energy, infinite energy. So you become like the cosmos. You are the cosmos. Very good. So perhaps we can just take a moment together to be in silence. Just either leave our eyes open or close our eyes. And realize if we have listened closely to this evening, this evening in itself has been an accumulation of the energy. We have concentrated the energy, we have made it inwardly explosive. It is now not wasted on anything, not wasted on all the trivialities, endless trivialities of our life, thoughts, emotions, wishing, needing, hoping, crying, all that, becoming someone special. So, and if we have been together in this, we have found life. Very good. So, thank you for meditating with me. Good night.